welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. I am, and I hope you'll bear with me for a moment here, a sleepy boy. So, apologies. I know I would rather make a video when I'm mostly awake, but yeah, I'm pretty busy these days. And that's one of the reasons that Genshin Impact has been really convenient for me. It's also convenient that you all are sending in your replays, and on that note, I really was looking forward to spending a good amount of time recording replays to make a replay video for you, the likes of which you're seeing now, and yet Nvidia said no. So, unbeknownst to me, I was having some audio issues as well as just recording issues with some of the replays that I was recording, and that's too bad because I lost, I don't know, 2-3 hours of material out of that. So sorry. I was really looking forward to showing more of what you all are sending in. I'm especially excited to see a couple of new faces in the Discord, so that's always nice. One of these is ObnoxiousCleve. And this here Cleve bro is definitely welcome on the Toshio Thunder Zone. Discord, that has got to be the most awkward way of mentioning the Discord I've ever accomplished, and I was kind of hoping that Cleve would not explode the powder charges in that KV2, as he'd likely collateral himself. I don't know if that's still a thing, but it might still be a thing. But as always, the powder charges in the KV2 just don't explode because ballads, comrade. Anyway, he's killing people faster than I can mention, and that's just something that happens in Das Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234. And this is the regular tech tree version that has the, I swear that went into the turret. I don't know, shenanigans, I say. Shenanigans. But, the SDKFZ 234 / roll the dice, is this the 2? Anyway, it's the one with the high velocity 50mm, it's the one with the turret on top, and that is very useful. I'm still a fan of my Pakwagen with the 75mm on it. That one-shot capability, that's a big difference between the 50 and the 75mm, really comes in handy sometimes. It's very comforting to know that generally 1 or 2 shots is enough to take down even the toughest of targets, and yet the turret on this 50mm Haven boy is definitely helpful as well. Yeah, Guppy, you can just put it on the floor. Guppy just finished her chicken nuggies with dip. That is ketchup. That is sugar paste. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but ketchup is mostly sugar, which sort of explains why when I was a kid I didn't like tomatoes, and yet I enjoyed ketchup. Yeah, I think I would enjoy it just fine if it wasn't chock full of sugar, but that's not the world we live in. Maybe sort of a beet paste mixed in would go well with catsups these days. Cook those tomatoes up nice, and then have it all come together so well. Speaking of, I cooked a very delightful dinner for my wife tonight, which is good because it was straight out of a box. Not really. We used the golden curry mix, which is sort of a paste. Well, it's like a paste waiting to happen. You mix it in. Anyway, but I used all of my professional cooking skills to make some nice veggies and onion mirepoix, maybe a poor man's mirepoix, if you will. But it was delightful, and I tasted just enough of it to verify that indeed it was heaven in a skillet, and served it to my wife when she finally got home around 8 o'clock tonight, so she had a super long day because she leaves the house at like 3:30 a.m. and then works at the post office. She's Santa's little helper this year, and I think the Christmas shopping is already starting because why wouldn't it? People have got nothing else to do. They've run out of sex and alcohol, so they gotta buy things on Amazon now. COVID, I tell you. COVID. I've seen a lot of beer ads on my internets, and I think that they're drawing in revenue and spending that on advertisements because people are doing a lot of drinking right now, sitting around at home. But I'm not that kind of person. Me, I like to gotcha. I actually spent $20 on Genshin Impact today. But you know what? Why am I talking so much about myself? I could say something along the lines of ObnoxiousCleve is just holding down that W to win button and finding himself in the right place at the right time in Das Sonderkraftfahrzeug. But I think just because I'm sleepy, I tend to talk. I tend to ramble. And you know what? I hope you forgive me. I hope that's not too obnoxious of me myself. Then again, maybe that's something he's into. He's just having a grand old time in this German scout wheeled, whatchamacallit, interesting concept, I tell you. Very interesting. But not probably all that easy to maintain and service in the field. 8 wheels has got to be a labor of love to keep that thing in treads, as it were. But I don't know, maybe it worked out well enough. It definitely is one of the best vehicles in War Thunder at its tier, and you're seeing why. It has absolutely top tier mobility, a surprising amount of survivability occasionally. Well, I mean, everything survives well against British AP rounds. But pulling out at the right time, nicely getting the jump on that, whatchamacallit, Cromwell, I think. But tweren't to be, as he got skewered by an ally. Back, this time in the skies of War Thunder, enjoying my favorite pastime and pulling off a very nice dive bombing run in the Stuka with the dive siren. I'm starting to see why. Look at that, air brakes and just a beautiful, beautiful maneuver there. Nicely done. I think I see why he took that particular Stuka out now, don't you? Anyway, this has been a delightful replay. I really enjoyed watching, and one thing that you probably won't see in this replay is that Cleve Bro, ObnoxiousCleve, I think, why am I calling him Cleve Bro? Anyway, distracted by cleavage. His ally in the other Stuka there apparently got shot down by artillery. But I don't think you're going to get a chance to see that in this one, so I just told you instead. Imagine you watch something epic. That's, yeah. So, I did want to tell you guys that I had a total blast at D&D night. It's been like a month since I was able to go, in between having a cold and going and picking up a TV. Scheduling conflicts, you see, it's the nature of the D&D. And I was so excited. I was so excited to go. And look at that beautiful teamwork between Stuka pilots to take down an enemy fighter. Even though these things are not the best suited, even at low tier, for defending themselves, if you keep a cool head and look out for each other, good things can happen. Just some beautiful flying information by these two fellas here. And the Stuka is definitely one of those aircraft that has seen its ups and downs in the game of War Thunder. It really is still a good aircraft. It's just limited in its maneuverability. It's limited in engine power. But its low speed maneuverability and just your ability to sort of have a good amount of control at almost all times, unless you're going very high speed in a dive, which historically has been an issue for the Stuka. It's just a very reliable aircraft. It does what it says it does, and it certainly doesn't do everything, but everything that it does well. Anyway, I just kind of like it. It's an interesting aircraft. It's certainly outdated by even the start of World War II, and yet there's just something about it. You don't see that gull wing design all that often in the game, and to be used in a dedicated dive bomber ground striker role, I just think that's kind of neat. Anyway, where was I? I wanted to tell you about D&D night. I had an absolute blast, and that's pretty much where things wrapped up for Cleve Bro. And here, viski253. I had some issues with the replays that I recorded recently. Thankfully, that one was not too badly harmed, or even at all. Maybe that's the one that broke NVIDIA. But here we have an older replay sent in by Viski. But as with everything he sends me, it's absolutely epic. So let me wrap up this D&D story fast. Basically, I've been playing this character in 5th edition that is a sorcerer, and yet he has a maximum strength score. In fact, he is a what's it called, Dragonborn, which apparently doesn't mean that you can Fusroda people. Maybe eventually, right? Sorcerer dreams. But instead, it means that you're basically the closest thing to playing a dragon as a player character that you can get and still be balanced against the other races in D&D 5th edition. What does that actually mean? I get a little breath weapon once per day because I can still do it. I can just do it once. And a little bit tougher skin than the average player character. But what have I done with this concept? I've made the Chattiator. I think I might have talked about Francis the Chattiator in the past, but he's just like, he's a bro, he's a gym bro, and he uses the power of bro science and muscles to solve his problems. And he's a fun guy to play. And I've been accused of trying to make friends with everyone in my D&D campaigns, including the villains, by the way. And you know what? I'll take it. You can be my friend too. You know, even if you're a hag, the D&D style of hag, I wouldn't call a living person by that title. Anyway, making friends with a hag is a different story. But that was something that the Chattiator, dang it, what's his name? Why did I just lose the name of my character? It's gone. It's gone. This is my brain. I can't think. Anyway, Francis. So, we had, last time we played, we had just finished off our quest. And so we'd even turned in sort of the quest. Sorry, it's simplifying things, and I'd like to get into more of the details, but we were done with all of the things we really needed to do, and we're sort of free. And we found out that there was a caravan heading for some major town or city, I guess, that I'm supposed to know the name of, but I mean, the lore kind of like, you can miss me with that, you know. I don't really care what the name of the city we're in is. I just wanna find the opportunities there, because the city streets, they sing to me, and new friends are waiting around every corner. But on the way, we picked up a gig as guards for a caravan to pay for our travel expenses and just make things generally easier on us. And an old friend was there. He was a minotaur that Dungeon Master Dave was playing for us, a guy who'd been helpful in the past and filled in for some missing party members when the need arose. Grinman the Minotaur, I think, something like that. Grinman? Anyway, cool guy, an appreciator of bulk and or muscles and manly things of the sort. So somebody that Francis immediately made friends with. And so it was just an absolute thrill to be able to work alongside him again. Great attitude on the guy, and all around just a real team player. David tends to be that way with his characters, by the way, which is just delightful. And somehow I ended up talking about how I hadn't ever fought a bear, and Grimman had never fought a bear. And so I was like, you know what? I've never fought a bear. Maybe I could wrestle a bear one of these days. And then the druid in our party mentioned something. I'm not sure if I think she was talking out of character, and she's just talking about how generally ridiculous I am. And I was like, oh yeah, we have a druid. She can summon bears. Well, basically, I ended up fighting a bear just for funsies and putting on a show for the entire caravan while I was at it. I think Grenman made a pretty good cut off of the gambling profits, and I showboated extensively. So it was an absolute blast, and it kind of took up the entire session. So I mean, we got to this major city where all kinds of possibilities lay before us, and the night was gone. I definitely enjoyed myself, though. I believe I got to pull off a move that I called a Bahamut's Comet. So I had an absolute blast. And I body slammed a bear. I tried to lift it over my head. I wasn't quite strong enough. Anyway, that's the end of that one. Sorry, Viski. I might not have actually mentioned anything about what you were doing in your replay, but priorities. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.